Fables of La Fontaine. The Wolf and the Fox. Why to the fox does Aesop ever give the palm of being clever? I the reason oft have sought, without of reason finding aught. When the wolf's engaged in strife to save his own or take a life, the fox can do no more than he, or half as much, and so I might with Master Aesop disagree. But there's a case has come to light, in which 'tis far, I should admit, the fox displayed the greater wit. On one fine night it so befell that Reynard, looking down a well, the moon's full silver circle sees, and takes it for a lordly cheese. Two pails above the well suspended to draw the water were intended, and into that which higher hung, good Master Reynard, famished, sprung. Down swift he went, and to his woe found out his sad mistake below. He saw his death before his eyes, for he could never hope to rise, unless some other famished thing, enticed by Dion's silver face, into the other pail should spring, and then by sinking take his place. 2 days passed on without a visit from any creature, and meanwhile old Time had made a huge deficit in Mistress Moon's well-rounded smile. But just as all seemed lost at last, a hungry wolf the well's mouth passed, to whom the fox with joyous hail cried, Master Wolf, with me regale this glorious cheese you here behold, from Fauna's hand received its mould, of milk which heifer Io give. If Jupiter were lying ill, I think the god himself would crave of this delicious cheese to have his fill. I've eaten my share, as you plainly may see, but enough still remains, both for you and for me. So enter the pail placed expressly for you. Now, whether this story was told well or not, the wolf, like a fool, took it all in as true, and into the bucket with eagerness got. When outweighed, of course, Master Reynard got up, and the other remained on the moonshine to sup. And yet, why blame the luckless beast? For, tempted by some phantom feast, as easily deceived, that which he hopes or that he fears, in either of the hemispheres, is by each man believed. Well, there you have it. So what's this all about? Well, it seems to me that the fox walking by the well during a full moon looks down, sees the full moon reflected in the water, thinks it's a huge cheese. So he jumps in the bucket, goes down into the well, and realizes it's just moonshine, the reflection of the moon shining in the water. So, nothing to eat. Anyway, he sits in there for a couple of days, starving to death. No other animal comes by, and then a wolf comes by, and he screams out, Hey, look! At this time, the moon's no longer full. It's getting smaller. He tells the wolf, Look, there's cheese down here. I've eaten some of it, as you can see. The rest is yours. Come on down. So the wolf jumps in the bucket and goes down. This raises the fox's bucket and he's able to jump out, and now the wolf is trapped down in the bottom. So, something looks too good to be true, it probably is. And if you get stuck with something, say for instance, you buy a car and it's not very good. It's a lemon. You're either stuck with it or you can try to pawn it off on somebody else. But you have to be wise. It's very easy to get sucked in by somebody telling you that it's so wonderful. So if it's something that you hope for, or something that you're afraid of, and all of a sudden there's a solution there that seems too good to be true, then it probably is. And you don't want to be foolish. You don't want to be outsmarted. People will play on your fears and on your hopes, and they'll make all kinds of promises. And best to make an intelligent, informed decision and learn about what you're getting yourself into before you get yourself into it. Whether it's the next great business that's going to make you $1 million, or a great stock tip, or something like that, or some great fear that you can stave off by doing X, Y, or Z. Just have your wits about you, do your research, learn what you can, make an informed decision. Look where you're getting this information. Is it someone who really cares about you, or someone who just cares about themselves? And try to be wise. And if you can't be wise, consult with somebody who's wise. Consult with somebody. If you can't have wisdom, have knowledge. Learn, study, try to figure it out. Talk to people who might know something. Sometimes you take a chance on something, it works out. People bought Microsoft for dirt cheap when it was first released to the public, and they made a fortune if they held on to their stock. People get rich all the time, a lot of times out of luck. It happens, but sometimes a bit of caution, a bit of study will save you from making a big mistake. And the flip side, if you're overly cautious and you don't take any chances, well, you're not going to benefit from that either. Most people didn't buy Microsoft when it was cheap, and now they all wish they did, hindsight being 2020. So sometimes you have to take a chance, sometimes it's best not to, but either way, learn what you can. Talk to people who know better, if you can find those people, and try to make an informed decision before you do something. Look into things prior to jumping into things. Whether it's your education, if you're going to go to university and study, well, don't study some foolish course of study that isn't going to have a job or isn't going to make much money. You know, it's wonderful to study basket weaving, but you're never going to get a job as a basket weaver. If you study engineering, on the other hand, or medicine, or other in-demand, high-paying jobs that require certification, specialty, you're bound to have a good, high-paying job if you get through your course of study. And you can certainly get through these courses of study. You don't have to be a magician or some super genius. Average, intelligent people can do these by study and practice and following the necessary steps in the right direction. Something to think about. If you have anything to add, down below. Till next time. Goodbye.